Strange things are afoot at the Circle K.
That kid is back on the escalator again.
Ain't gonna hurt.
Is my boomstick!
Game over, man. It's game over.
Welcome to Season 3 of the BS Bargain Bin. He is your host, Ben Mason.
He's your co-host, General Sweet Pants Andrew Luketic, and today we're talking 1994's In the Army Now. We assume if you're listening to this episode, you have already seen the movie. And I mean, really, who hasn't? Right? Right?
I don't know if I want to talk to you anymore.
Why?
I get the reference. Don't call me Sweet Pants.
That's not the first time.
I'm not even wearing pants.
Ooh. Okay, then. I'll step it up a notch. Sandra, when was the first time you saw In the Army Now?
It would have been around when it came to VHS for rentals. Yeah,
It's like 94, 95.
Yep. Typical story of it being rented by my dad.
Yeah. Pauly Shore in his prime. I mean, we got the best Shore in really a small number of years. I mean, like, his peak was what, like 92 to 96?
I don't know.
7-ish, maybe. But, I mean, Pauly Shore's great. We've only spoke about him once before, I believe. So I thought, why not start off season 3, year 3, with some more fun Pauly Shore action?
All right. Before we get any further into that, I do want to make it well known that for season 3, we now have merch.
Yeah,
So,
we do.
if you guys want to support your boys here at the BS Bargain Bin, we have got a bunch of designs up on Redbubble. If you want to find a direct link to it, you can just head to bsbargainbin.com. There's a tab at the top for merch. There's t-shirts, mugs, stickers, notebooks, whatever. Just a bunch of stuff to shill out for us.
Scud missiles.
No. That we checked with our lawyers. They said that would be illegal.
Bazookas.
No. Just the stuff that I said.
Water purification trucks.
So a few of the designs that are there I made, and we also had one that we had an artist that I got to give a quick shout out to on Instagram and Twitter at Bobbin for Art, made our garbage can logo, which I think is absolutely fantastic and will look great on merch.
BS Garbage Bin. Fantastic. Yes. I love it so much.
I think we butted heads on it because she just kept calling it Garbage Can Man. And I was like, no, it's like BS Bargain Bin. It's BS Garbage Bin. But, you can't see eye to eye on everything, right? So.
Well, it looks fantastic and a job well done.
Absolutely. Okay. Ben.
Yo.
We got a game to play, my friend.
Love games.
So, obviously, one of them is just a quick cameo. Mm-hmm. So I'll tell you right now, we got 2.5 in this movie.
Yeah, I think I got them.
Okay.
So, people in this film that we have covered in previous episodes. The half, Brendan Fraser.
Correct. In?
Encino Man.
Correct.
Pauly Shore.
No. You're not done with Brendan Fraser.
Glory Days.
One more.
One more?
Yeah, man.
I don't know. Oh, God, no, I know. Fuck off. Airheads.
Yes, okay, there you go.
Oh, that was a close one. And as I said, Pauly Shore, Encino Man.
Correct.
And I'm going to have to say Art LaFleur.
Correct.
McNulty in Trancers.
You got it. Oh, man.
Fuck yeah, I did.
I'll give you full points for that. That Brendan Fraser one, I mean, you needed a couple of hints, a couple of prods in the right direction, but yeah, I'll let it go.
My memory is not the best. We know this.
I know. That's why I like doing this game, is to show everybody how terrible your memory is.
Yeah, it's a fucking game for you. It's torture for me.
Yep. That's, I literally said that's why I like it.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you. Fun times as always.
Mm-hmm.
But we're not talking about my deteriorating mental state. Today we're talking about In the Army Now.
Which might have contributed to it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well done.
Hey, I like Pauly Shore. He ain't doing anything for my long-term memories.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm going to jump right in. We open on a voiceover between Bones, played by Pauly Shore, and Jack, Andy Dick, as we watch gameplay footage of Return Fire on the 3DO. Now, when I first saw this game looked absolutely amazing to 12-year-old me. I had never seen graphics like this before, and I wanted a 3DO so badly.
I think that brings the total count up to like 3 people.
4. We'll say 4 people.
Sure.
What a shit system, man.
Oh, yeah.
It was so bad. And Return Fire fucking sucked.
Yeah,
They made it look so good. This is the best ad this game could have hoped for.
I still think that when you're doing something like this in a movie, just make up your own thing. Even if it's just like, don't even make it look like a video game. Make it look like he's controlling real life. Be like, oh, look at how amazing this is.
Yeah. I guess really if you're relying on Pauly Shore as your hype man for your game, things aren't looking too good.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
But we get our first view of the boys, who are revealed to be employees of Crazy Boys Electronics. And these 2 greasy-looking bastards. Oh my god, they look awful. What happened to Pauly's hair?
What do you mean what happened to it?
It's like greased up, slicked back. It's not that poofy fro that we're used to from Totally Pauly and Encino Man and even Son-in-Law, which we haven't gotten to yet, but I know we're going to. Trust me. They look awful.
I think that's the point. I think
know.
It's supposed to really, really just show a contrast from when they get their heads shaven.
Yes. Bones is almost fired by his boss, Quinn, played by Peter Spellos, who I don't think you know. He's done a lot of English dubs for anime, but I know him as the creepy neighbor from Sorority House Massacre 2. What?
Yeah.
Are you judging my taste in film?
No, I'm judging your ability to throw me under the bus for not ever knowing anyone.
I mean, we've been doing this for years. You should be used to it.
Exactly.
Yeah. But Bones is saved at the last second when he manages to sell a high-end TV to a customer. Did you recognize the customer? I'm doing it again, man.
Don't.
Well, the customer is Gabriella, who is Bones' girlfriend. But she's played by Fabiana Udenio, who you have seen in another movie. Here, let's play this game. Tables have turned. Where have we seen her before? And no, we haven't covered it on the show. I just know you've seen the movie.
No, I don't know.
A lot of vagina from Austin Powers.
Oh, okay. Well, you assume I've seen Austin Powers.
You've seen Austin Powers.
Which I have, yes, I've seen.
Fuck off. What are you doing?
You know
Anyway,
what I find interesting? So this is his plan to prevent himself from getting fired, is to have her return this small Watchman, which I completely forgot that was a brand of thing.
I loved it.
Because when I'm watching it, I'm like, did she mistakenly say Watchman, but she meant Walkman? And then no, this is what happens. But, you know, he pretends to upsell her, and, you know, later on she asks, like, you sure they're going to take it back? Because she obviously doesn't want to keep it. She's just trying to make him look like a good salesman. But in my mind, I'm like, when'd she buy the Watchman to return? Did she come in a week ago thinking, man, he might get canned next week. I should buy this product to return today?
You are trying to ground this in reality, and that is a mistake.
This is where my brain goes when we watch this stuff.
This is where it goes?
Yeah, man.
Dude, you have to just watch things at surface level sometimes.
Inquiring minds want to know.
No, they don't.
Do they just have like a basket of electronics by their like front door that if there's an emergency and he's going to get fired, she can just grab one and take into the store?
Nobody is thinking about this. Nobody. Jesus.
Oh, that's military level preparation, my friend.
Oh my God. No. Oh, okay. All right. Back to the plot. Because we skimmed over the fact that Gabriella is Bones' girlfriend. And this is revealed when Jack inadvertently broadcasts a private conversation between the two on the store's demo TVs.
What's wrong with Jack?
Why is he filming this?
Yes, I know, we get it. Later on, he says, like, I didn't realize that it was broadcasting. Fine. But why were you trying to record them when he was trying to get her to have sex with him in the back room?
The only thing I could think of is this was just Andy Dick being himself, not realizing they were shooting. He is one creepy motherfucker.
He's so to blame for this.
For everything.
Him getting fired, and they never talk about that. Like, in the movie, it's Bones who's, like, apologetic for them getting fired. It's like, maybe it should be Jack, who, if he just didn't pick up that damn camera, that should be apologetic, because they'd be fine. You cost them both their jobs.
Yeah. And for what?
Gotta get your perv on.
Andy Dick being Andy Dick. Of course, Quinn sees all of this. Like we had said, the two friends scuffle, knock over the display of televisions, and both are immediately fired.
This is this awkward moment of Pauly Shore on top of Andy Dick, and he's just kind of laughing awkwardly.
Oh, fully straddling him.
And they hang on it for a while, and I'm like, this is so good, because it's like, what would you say in that situation? Just
all you can do is laugh.
Yeah.
I mean, we've all been there.
No. Right? No, we haven't.
Yeah. Well, what do you do after you get fired, Sandro?
Go play mini golf, man. You gotta cheer yourself up.
Yes. And hopefully encounter two soldiers and come up with a plan to join the reserves.
I do find it fantastic, though, that their biggest complaint is that they're not going to have money for rent, which is repeated multiple times. Bones says it to the boss when he's trying to not get fired. Andy Dick says it when they're playing mini golf. But I forgot how mini golf was absolutely free to go play.
What are you talking about?
Well, when you have no money for rent, you should definitely go and pay to play mini golf.
Oh, okay. I thought you were actually making the statement that mini golf is free. I'm like, where the fuck do you play free mini golf? I'm in. I'll do that. I love mini golf. Blacklight mini golf. Oh, but actually, Sandro, Jack did apologize for getting them fired.
He apologized because he didn't realize it was broadcasting. I referenced that.
That's right. Bones' response? No problemo, my friend. I was sick of getting down on my knees for that guy anyway. Jack's response of, whoa, Bones, I had no idea. Begging for my job. And honestly, anybody listening, this is the humor that sets the tone for the movie. This is what we're getting the entire time.
Yeah, this is the highest of the highbrow that we get.
And Bones repeatedly rubbing the soldier's head.
What was that?
I don't know.
You never seen a short haircut before?
Yeah, it's very out of character for a ridiculous character. Anyway, the two enlist for quick money despite Jack trying to talk Bones out of it. And I don't know how to describe it. Like, Bones' state of mind, his intelligence fluctuates.
Yes.
With things like, when was the last war? World War II? 20 years ago. Absolutely ridiculous. But later on in the movie, he'll say quite a few, intelligent remarks, questions, quips. The character's all over the place.
Yep. Keeping in mind that this conversation, he also says that they get a $2,500 signing bonus. And between the two of them, that's like $6,000.
Yeah.
You're going to own your own store. You need to learn math, man.
That's what calculators are for.
I'd like to buy this television. How much money you got? Well, I got this $10 bill and this $20 bill, so I have $500.
And a button. They decide to enlist for water purification, assuming there's no chance they'll be called up for active duty.
Yeah, like, what are you going to get called into a war with water balloons?
So stupid.
It is so dumb, but I mean, that's what this movie is.
Yeah. But it does lead us into the haircut montage, which I enjoy. Pauly talking about how he's known for his hair and he just wants a little off the sides.
I love how the barber gives him this elaborate description of like, a haircut that you can wear to a business meeting, but also to the beach and this and that. And he convinces Pauly Shore. He's like, yeah. And then just gives him the same haircut that everybody else gets.
And this has to have been huge for Pauly. Like, his agent definitely didn't want him to do this movie. It was the third in his deal with Disney of 3 movies he was contractually obligated to do. And everybody warned him not to do it because the script was mediocre at best. And I think that's a favorable statement about this script, by the way. But he loved being on movie sets so much. That's all he wanted to do. He took it because it's the only thing he had. And it didn't do anything for his career, but it did give us this movie, which provides quite a few laughs. But he also doesn't look bad with a shaved head.
No, he doesn't. He's not a bad-looking dude.
No, he's not. Andy Dick looks like a fucking alien, but Pauly looks fine. I also don't mind Jack's military-issued glasses. They look fine.
I do love how Pauly Shore, who's constantly like convincing Jack to do everything, is like, no, they look very unique. You'll never see anybody else wearing them. And then an entire contingent of guys wearing those glasses walks by.
Yeah, it's good. Fun sight gag.
Yeah.
Also, at that point, they're reporting for basic training. Terrified Jack refuses to get out of the truck until realizing that the drill sergeant is an attractive woman because this is the 90s and that's a joke. I do have to say, Drill Sergeant Ladd, played by Lynn Whitfield, is phenomenal. She is so good in this movie. And 100% gets in Bones' face. But the next morning, everyone in the barracks is woken up for the first day of basic training. And
That's it?
There's a few points to make here.
There should have been some few points to make earlier.
No. Like
when
what?
there's that whole scene getting off the truck, they lean heavily on some so overdone jokes. But for some reason, I didn't mind them.
Like what? I left them out.
Like when she says, give me 20. You've seen this in a million things in media. He goes to give her money. It's not an uncommon joke. But I like the way he does it. And then when she says, do you understand? Grunt. And he does grunt. When I watched this as like a younger person, I remembered like part of that scene, and I thought he was just being defiant, like, but like, no, he's grunting. She gave him, like, he took it as if it's an order. I don't know. I loved it.
Now, Pauly Shore has a way of finessing unfunny things and making them funny.
Yes, he also has an uncanny ability to make some funny things not funny by overdoing them.
Yeah, it's called his career.
Yeah, I find there isn't really a gray area. He can make gold out of shit, but he can also make shit out of gold. Yeah,
I haven't heard that one before. Yeah, you're not wrong, though. I mean, he's proven it time and time again, and quite frequently in this film.
Well, yeah, look at what he did after this movie. He played the voice of Bobby in a Goofy movie, which was brilliant and one of the greatest movies ever made, and then followed it up with Jury Duty and Biodome. Yeah, it's like there's no gray area. It's hit or miss.
Hey, you don't talk shit about Biodome around me.
Okay. Except for all the times that I have in the past and probably will.
No. That movie is gold, and you don't go near it until I make you go near it.
Anybody listening to this episode, chime in the comments with your thoughts on Biodome. Are you with me or are you with Ben? Please. He needs a bit of a wake-up call.
I will take all of you motherfuckers on. No one's going to convince me otherwise. Biodome is an amazing film.
All right, Ben, can we get on with it, man? Like, it's enough of this already.
This is your fault.
Is it?
Yes.
Is it really?
Yeah, you cut me off.
Let's agree to disagree.
Fine. Honestly, the first day of basic training seems like a great morning workout routine. I'm totally down for this. So much motivation. But I also love the back and forth between Bones and Jack with like, Jack, where'd the sun go? There is no sun anymore, Bones. The sun is gone. We've died and gone to hell. Great. But also, you learned to use a bazooka on the first day?
I don't think it's supposed to be the first day. It's like a bit of a montage where they kind of blend the time, because the basic training is supposed to be 8 weeks.
Yeah, but they don't show you any cut through the days.
Well, and that's what I'm thinking. Like, this is not meant to have any sort of decipherable timeline to it. This is just a montage of things that happen in training.
Which makes the most sense, just poorly done.
Although I love how they plant the seeds for later by saying, you're holding the bazooka backwards.
Hey, you've got
There's
that
a picture on it.
Son.
Yeah, like, this is idiot proof. And it's like, all right, this is totally coming back.
Yeah. We also learn the necessity of a straight gig line. And Bones has fun with it. Sexual harassment at its finest. And then American Gladiator time. What are those things called?
What, the joust sticks?
Jousting sticks, that's it. Here we get Bones' horrible interaction with the drill sergeant of what he thinks is flirting.
Okay, all right. So she asks for a volunteer.
Mm-hmm.
He volunteers and then says, I can't hit you, you're a girl. So why did you volunteer? What did you think she wanted to volunteer for? To help clean it up after?
It doesn't make any sense.
No.
But when he finally agrees, because she at this point she turns around and challenges other people, and he just spins and cracks her in the back of the head with the stick. Did you see the helmet move? That looked painful as shit. Like he rocked her real good.
I was more looking at her facial expression, which I thought was phenomenal.
Yeah,
in that moment,
amazing.
In that moment, I could see in her eyes that she wanted to kill this man.
Yeah, Lynn Whitfield, amazing. Absolutely amazing in this movie. I wanted more of her. And like even just her comedic timing, her serious delivery, everything. Like in the next one, next scene, drop the pin, throw the grenade. She's fantastic because Pauly does the exact opposite. Drops
Which
the grenade,
I feel is also
pin.
another joke that has not been, or that has been used many times before.
I think it works here though.
Well, yes, just like the last time, I give Pauly Shore kudos. He's able to breathe new life into some old jokes.
Yeah. But?
There's no but. I was praising it earlier, and I'm praising it now.
Oh, okay. I thought you were giving it the Sandro treatment. Sorry.
No. Like, this is just another example of what I said, where he can take, like, a joke that's probably been run into the ground and somehow still make it entertaining.
Without saying a word.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Great physical comedian, too. Pauly Shore,
So underrated.
It's so underrated. I would love to see a resurgence.
Misused a lot.
Yeah. And he is his own worst enemy, I think.
Well, yeah, he agreed to do Biodome.
Sandro?
Yeah.
No.
But he was great as Bobby in a Goofy movie.
Yeah, well, yeah. Yeah, he was. Leaning Tower of Cheesa.
Yeah.
But
see, so much better.
Biodome's much better.
No.
Yes. I'm going to make you watch. We're going to cover it on the show. I already had my pick for. I had my pick for next week, and now I might change it.
I already watched Biodome, and I tweeted about it. And if you follow us on social media at BS Bargain Bin on Twitter, you would have seen my tweet.
Great. Now I'm going to make you talk about it.
See, I'm learning how to put plugs into the middle of our conversations.
Well done, man. Good job. The boys arrive for the first day of water purification training and meet battle-ready Christine, played by Lori Petty, and anxiety-ridden dental student Fred, played by David Alan Grier.
It feels like walking... Sorry, go ahead.
No, I just said comments on these two.
It feels like walking into this room was just hitting the check mark of hitting all the demographics that needed to be represented in this movie.
Oh, yeah. But David Alan Grier, Lori Petty, they're so good, man.
Right now, you're like, okay, you've had such a wonderful cast, minus Andy Dick.
Mm-hmm.
And every character that gets introduced is just fantastic.
The character actors in this movie, there are so many. Like, I'm just going to run through the cast right now, like super quickly. Pauly Shore, Lori Petty, David Alan Grier, Andy Dick, S.A. Morales, Lynn Whitfield, Fabiana Udenio, Art LaFleur, Glenn Morshower, Bo Billingsley, Peter Spellos, and Saul Owens, plus cameo by Brendan Fraser. The cast is stacked.
Yes.
With amazing character actors. And a lot of people probably don't know the names, but if you saw them, you'd be like, holy shit, it's that guy, or holy shit, it's that girl. They did a great job casting this film.
Yeah, I think Art LaFleur is one of those perfect examples for me. You can show me his face, and I'll know exactly who it is, but I won't know his name or what I've seen him in.
You'd be like, McNulty, what's up? No.
Even though it's in a movie we reviewed, I would have not put that together. That was entirely, I had to rely on IMDb to tell me he was in a movie we reviewed.
No, I know you were like, holy shit, he's from Trancers. That's one of my favorites.
I mean, I did like Trancers, but...
Good, because we're covering Trancers 2 soon.
No!
Fred, David Alan Grier, saying that his therapist thinks it would be good for him to face his fears, and that's why he enlisted. And when Bones asks what he's afraid of,
damn near everything.
It's one of the best deliveries in the movie. Well, damn near everything. The look on his face. Oh my god, he's so good. Honestly, Lori Petty and David Alan Grier are already more entertaining than Shore and Dick to me.
It's debatable.
Yeah, that's fine.
They're definitely more entertaining than Dick.
Dick's pretty entertaining.
Pauly Shore on his own
Dick,
is also...
Sorry. Water purification.
What is this? No.
Yeah, that was a bad one. Basically a training montage next for water purification. That night, I guess, or some night, party at Bones' place. I thought it was a bar at first, but apparently it's his apartment.
No, why did you think it was a bar?
I think it was the bar.
I don't think that's a bar. I think that's like one of those like where there's like a counter divide between rooms. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like,
I always saw that as a bar. And that's also probably just me not paying enough attention.
Yeah, I was going to say, they'd have to probably zoom out and give us like a full view of the room, but I took it as that, right?
Yeah.
And the counter between a kitchen and like a living room could be used as a bar.
Yeah, that's fair. Definitely didn't need to see Pauly Shore in his underwear.
Speak for yourself.
That's two really bad jokes in a row. At least we're even now. Thanks for covering that one. During his attempt to have sex with Gabriella, he gets a coded phone call from the military calling him into action.
I'm so glad I watched this movie so that I could learn some things.
Like what?
Well, like if I want to get my woman to be interested, to just bark at her for a while.
You're just learning that?
Yeah, like I would have never thought that before this. I guess I was the only one in the dark about it.
It's so fucking ridiculous.
Oh, okay. You want to complain about ridiculous? You picked this movie.
It's funny.
Well, then deal with it. This is what you get.
Okay. Lion face. Looks
Sour
like you're
face.
going to lemon face. Already off the rails.
Is that Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back?
Yes. That's
Good Will Hunting 2.
Good Will Hunting 2, hunting season.
Mm-hmm.
Lion face, lemon face, lion face, lemon face. Looks like you're going to Chad, which is about to be invaded by Libya. We find out that Christine chose to go into water purification because they would be the first to be called in if there's a desert war. And Jack realizes that Bones' rationale for signing up was horribly flawed and is pissed.
Yeah, well, Jack's a jerk who got them fired.
Yeah. So what do they do to try and get out of active service?
They make scenes from the 90s that wouldn't fly today.
They claim that they are gay. And sadly, this would actually work. But when they're asked to kiss each other, they can't, and the ruse fails.
That got me really thinking.
Okay.
Like, I was legitimately thinking, like, would I kiss my buddy to not have to go to war? And I'm so pretty sure that I'm afraid of war to the point that I'd impregnate you if I had to.
Wow. First of all, no.
Oh, we're not covering Junior yet?
No, we're not covering Junior yet. Oh, God. I don't like this conversation at all. But yeah, okay, yeah. The fear of going to war versus having to kiss a friend. I mean, it's pretty obvious what most people would do.
Go to war?
Yeah. Very different times, man. Like, women can't be in active combat. Gay men can't serve in the military. What were they doing? What were they thinking? What rationale is that?
I think it's a rationale from a much earlier time that just at this point had yet to be revised.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. It never made sense in the first place.
Nope.
But cut to everyone now at Dragon Base in Chad, and I just have a note that says, "Holy shit, it's Art LaFleur as First Sergeant Brandon T. Williams." And he is such a good actor. He is perfectly cast in this movie. But Pauly Shore being Pauly Shore leads us into a montage of push-ups, peeling potatoes, setting up their tent, which they end up labeling as 1314 Dirt Lane.
I love when Art LaFleur tells him, "I'm your first sergeant." And Pauly Shore's like, "Well, I wish that was true. I'd really like that, but I've had other sergeants before you." And I'm just like, okay, like, these are just so lame surface level jokes, but I'm loving them.
Yeah, literal joke.
I think it's Pauly Shore's delivery, because the way he does it makes you feel like he really believes this. Like, this is just a lovable idiot who really doesn't understand these terms and what's going on.
It's also his pronunciation and enunciation, which is just a little off from normal. It's slightly alien. That it kind of throws you off, confuses you a little bit, but he's charming and lovable at the same time. I think that's where his comedy really comes from.
Mm-hmm.
Bones gets a Dear John letter from Gabriella letting him know that she's left him for someone else. But fortunately, Bones is too shallow to stay bummed for too long.
So why did she dump him?
I think they didn't have the strongest relationship to begin with. She's not happy with him. We saw that from the very beginning. Are we actually going to spend time thinking about this?
No, sir. Sorry, sir.
That night they play on Fred's anxiety, freaking him out about scorpions and making untimely references to Little House on the Prairie. But
then Lori Petty's like, "Oh, if you're afraid, you can come sleep with me." And his reaction is, "I'd rather take my chances with the scorpions?"
Yeah, I don't get that. A friendly dig.
Okay.
That is Fred. That's his character. He would say something like that. Next day, mess hall. Surprise appearance from Linkovich Chomovsky.
And it actually says Link on his shirt.
Yeah, Brendan Fraser. 3 for 3 appearances in Pauly Shore Disney movies. Well, live action Disney movies. He warns them not to eat the chicken because it tastes just like frog.
I'm assuming that's a callback to Encino Man when he eats the frog in the science class.
And Son-in-Law when he also eats a frog.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I told you, we'll get there eventually. We did these out of order. That's my fault.
No, that's your fault.
Yeah, Brendan Fraser, Sandra, he makes me smile every time he's on screen. He's just too good. He's so lovable. And with this awkward silence, I'm going to announce from now on, we're only going to be covering Brendan Fraser movies.
I mean, I can't object. He's just so damn lovable.
First appearance from Staff Sergeant Stern, played by S.A. Morales, who's another amazing actor. He immediately presents himself as a threat, but you know that won't last because he's S.A. Morales. And also we get Bones' attempt at an inspiring speech about unity.
It is so off.
It's horribly misplaced.
I mean, I get the final message of like, can't we all just get along?
Yeah.
It might be one of my least favorite parts of the movie.
Agreed. Completely. It's unfunny, it's out of place, and completely unnecessary.
Agreed on all fronts.
But now it's time to purify some water and teach the locals the benefits of flossing.
Well, yeah.
The team is systemically abducted by Stern as payback for the embarrassment. And this really pisses off First Sergeant Williams when he doesn't have clean water for his coffee.
Why is he so mad?
I don't know.
It's not Pauly Shore's fault that he threw the tray of food and hit the sergeant.
Mm-hmm.
Pauly Shore was literally just trying to say, hey, man, let's just get along. And then he picked up the tray and threw it. It's like, this is typical bully behavior. Just take accountability for your own actions, you jerk.
This is high school shit, man.
Yeah. I mean, they kind of were in a cafeteria.
That's true. The water crew are found taped to cots as public embarrassment.
Correct.
Which I also don't really get. It doesn't fit in this movie.
No.
This whole thing doesn't need to happen. This weird rivalry between the Water Boys and Stern is here for what reason?
No idea. And
because
I mean,
they meet up. Go ahead. Sorry.
We get this moment where LaFleur is asking, like, who did this? And he says, I can't say because I've been, and LaFleur says, because of pride? No, because I've been threatened with death. And then later they go and they try to smooth things over with him. Why not just make it say, like, yeah, we can't rat out on these guys and have that be the very bonding moment that you go for one scene later?
Yeah. I don't know. And like, yeah, we see them meet up again later in the movie and they're all buddy eventually, but we don't need this to lead into that. We could just have that and that would be fine. But again, this is a live action Disney action comedy. So I guess we're just looking too deeply into things.
No, that's not my style.
The water crew are tagged with supplying the forward UN peacekeeping base, and the convoy sets out. Now, the truck breaks down, and the convoy leaves them behind, only to get caught in an ambush. And for some reason, I don't know why, but I got sucked into the movie at this moment. I'm like, that would be one of the most terrifying things to see ever. Imagine being part of a convoy, your truck breaking down, them going on without you, and as soon as they're out of sight, you hear the gunfire, you hear the explosions, and you realize everybody that you were just with are dead. Very serious for a Disney film.
I'm pretty sure, but that's why most of it happens off camera.
But the truck catches fire and explodes, and luckily Bones saved the water truck from any damage. What's your stance on this movie so far?
No, I'm digging it.
They get lost in the desert, because of course they do. While trying to figure out where the road is, the water truck begins to sink in the sand. Jack takes lead and tries to free it, but fills the air filter with sand and cracks the block.
Where else would they get lost?
Okay, yeah.
They're right. In the desert. You can just say they got lost. It's not like you're going to be like, oh, they got lost in the rainforest?
Now you're going to nitpick me? Now.
I don't nitpick, sir.
Okay. We've been doing this for years. You do it every fucking episode. I call you out on it and you deny it?
I'm pretty sure that's what I just said, yeah.
All right, good. We get our first confrontation between Bones and Jack, like a legit confrontation. But
again, I'm on Bones' side.
Yeah, he pulls rank, as you would do in this situation.
But he's right. Because Jack's like, all right, everybody get out of the way. I'm going to rock it out. And Bones says, like, no, like that's going to get too much sand in the air intake.
Yeah.
And then it happens. And it's like, again, just like them getting fired. Like, okay, this is Jack's fault again.
Yeah. And I have to say, this is probably the first realistic scene we get in this movie. And I like it, but it doesn't fit with the rest of the film. I do have to say, though, some pretty decent acting from Andy Dick.
I mean, I like to shit on him because it's Andy Dick.
Yeah.
But I used to, before all of stuff kind of got out about him, I did enjoy him on news radio.
Yeah, he was pretty good on that.
And I thought he was a decent actor. So I'm not going to take that away from him.
Yeah. I was focusing on him just in this movie. Like, I don't remember him from much outside of this movie and that show. But I was caught off guard because he's terrible in this movie up until this point. And honestly, after this point. But there's a scorpion on Fred's back, Sandro.
We don't know that yet, though.
A much needed comedic scene after that that back and forth between Jack and Bones. But that was funny, man. Comes to term with his fears, despite the fact that there is actually a massive scorpion on his back that he's completely unaware of.
Yeah.
But the team sets out on foot from here. And they finally find a truck and the road, but it's actually just their truck that they abandoned earlier. And I'm not sure where this road they're talking about is.
Well, they talked about it earlier when they were still just driving, is that they were trying to find the road that the convoy was going down.
Yeah.
And I guess it like curved and they were cutting across, right? Because I think they were still trying to get to the forward station, assuming that would have still been fine, I guess.
Yeah, I'm with you. It's a guessing scenario because that little bit of info doesn't really make sense.
I mean, as soon as Bones got the truck running, or not running, but like away from the truck that was going to explode.
Yeah.
Not to say like, oh, desert the mission or something, but it feels like if they didn't have communication and based on how the movie was cut, they didn't get to their destination. I would think go back to base and report what happened.
Yeah. And to do so, follow the tire tracks
that you just made because you're coming the way, like you're going back the way you came.
Exactly. Jack suffers heat stroke and begins hallucinating that he sees the ocean, almost passing out naked in the sand. Bones talks some sense into him, and the team regroups. So
there's a moment here when Jack is running to the ocean, or no, actually before he starts running, and David Alan Grier is like, well, it's a mirage. And Bones, like, is he joking? Because then he starts saying, like the mirage is in Las Vegas and starts saying other things that you would see there, casinos and whatever. Like, is he joking?
Well, the Mirage is a hotel casino in Las Vegas.
No, I get that. But, like, Jack is freaking out that he sees the ocean. David Alan Grier, whose name I'm forgetting right now, Fred, says it's a mirage. And it's like...
It is a mirage!
Is Bones joking at that point? That doesn't seem like the situation to then play up the, the Mirage is in the Mirage Hotel in Las Vegas.
Yeah, no, it's a poorly placed joke.
Very poorly placed.
Yeah. But again, it's Pauly Shore. He can pretty much do what he wants. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't fit, but whatever. There's a lot of that in this movie. They eventually find a dried up oasis and are confronted by a spitting cobra, which to me is one of the most terrifying snakes in the world. But he shoots at it and water bubbles from the sand. And that night they have an evening of gritty water and cobra meat.
So he kills the snake with the gun after he runs out of bullets because he's just like, I'm still going to get you. And he starts smacking it with the gun.
Yeah, he beats it to death.
And then he does. He beats it to death. He wins. And then there's a shot of him lifting it up. And that does not
looks terrible.
It looks so bad. It was almost like, okay, we got this footage of this real cobra that he's going to attack. But then when he kills it, we painted a cobra's face on an old bike tire. It just looks terrible.
It was just a piece of rubber hanging from the butt of a gun or the barrel of a gun.
It was so bad. And like, for the most part, like, say what you want about anything else in the movie, it looks good, right? Mm-hmm. Everything looks like it fits. It looks like what's supposed to be. Nothing looks, it's not like, oh, this looks like a, Wish.com army base. Like, everything looks good, except for the snake.
Yeah.
And their hair at the beginning of the movie when they were still at work.
Passable, though. Forgivable.
I'd still trade it all for that hair right now. Yeah, it's a balding joke, but it's, all jokes are rooted in some truth.
It's so... I'm sorry. The next day, I think they find an embassy, but it's actually a Libyan military base, and they're promptly captured.
So, okay, I didn't quite catch it. I didn't quite see it properly, or if it's not shown, hear it like, he says he thinks he sees the UN flag.
Yeah, there's no flag.
Okay. All right. Because I was going to say, like, is this one of those situations where, like, oh, he doesn't know things again, and there's, like, a Libyan flag or something like that he thinks is the UN flag? Or is it like, oh, they're so clever, they put up a UN flag to attract... Yeah, I don't know.
No, that would add to the film, but no, I looked. There is no flag.
Okay.
While in the POW camp, they meet up with Staff Sergeant Stern again, who tells them of his failed mission. And he instructs them to sing a song so he can tell Bones about the secret recon mission and their plans to escape.
So I have one real big problem with this scene.
Okay.
They don't do a good job singing. None of them are on key. None of them are actually harmonized together with the lyrics or anything.
Yeah, I see how that's a problem for you.
And the guards who are listening in are confused, understandably, and they can't hear Bones and
Stern.
Terrible names.
Stern.
Other dude.
Stern
talking. But then at one point they're just dancing?
Yeah, I have my note here. It says, the look of confusion on the faces of the guards monitoring the cell, followed by them dancing along with the singing. Great stuff.
Why would they be dancing to that?
Because it's ridiculous. This whole movie is ridiculous. Just have fun with it, man.
Then just make it that when they start singing, some completely unrealistic voices that are so much better actually come out of their mouths.
Well, then you're entering parody territory. That's
cares?
more at home in like the Naked Gun movies.
I do like those.
Yeah, me too. I would love to cover those movies, but it's all, well, not all, but so many sight gags that'd be hard to describe.
No, that would be impossible to do. Yeah. Any of his movies in general.
Yeah, I almost picked Airplane for next week, and I thought about it. I'm like, no, people should just watch it and enjoy it. I don't want to dissect that.
Exactly.
We get some flirting and bonding between Christine and Bones. And Bones chips away at a bar in their cell window that night as an air raid siren sounds. The base is attacked, and for the most part, I was impressed with the explosions. They look pretty good.
I liked how they timed him pulling the bar up with the air raid alarm, because I'm watching it, and even I'm like, oh no, they set off an alarm. Because that's what they intended, and it worked.
Yeah, it was just great timing. Question for you. I don't think the base gets, the holding cells get hit with an explosion. But it seems that an explosion knocked out a guard because Bones tries fishing for a key ring that's on the ground just outside of their cell. There's
some rubble around it, too. I'm thinking maybe they're trying to imply that, while it didn't hit, there was some, shocks or something, there was some destruction caused by it. Just kind of like a radial splash damage, not directly hit.
Okay. Christine notices a crack in the wall and kicks out a block, and they remove some more, which allow them to escape and steal a truck, which they drive through a gate and then almost immediately run out of gas.
Can I go back to them fishing for the keys for a second?
Sure.
And this is, honestly, this is me being genuinely curious. Bones says this is like a scene straight out of Pirates of the Caribbean. Mm-hmm. Now, I know he's not talking about the Johnny Depp movies because those didn't come out for years until after this. Was there other movies?
No, it was a ride at Disney that also had some filmed elements to it to tell the story. I'm pretty sure that's what he's referencing. I don't know 100% because I don't know Disney well, nor do I care to. But I think it's something along those lines.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe there was another movie that... Because I even tried Googling for another movie called Pirates of the Caribbean before that one. Mm-hmm. And I thought, oh, maybe there's another movie that you know that's like got a name like, oh, Blackbeard's Treasure or something like that. That is about the Pirates of the Caribbean, but has a different title that wouldn't have come up when I was Googling it.
I don't believe so, no.
Yeah, that part really threw me off.
Yeah, it caught my attention too, but I just let it go. I don't know.
Yeah, I generally let things go. I just figured this time I would inquire.
And a solid answer you did not get. Bones channels his retail expertise and makes a deal to buy camels from some locals. It's awkward and uncomfortable.
Oh, I have no problem with that.
Part of the deal is selling Jack's watch, which has a compass that he forgot to mention.
And again, Jack is the jerk idiot of this movie.
Yep.
And like, Bones even says if Bones should be a lot more angry about this. Yep. But he's like, I'm going to give you some noogies later. But he calls him out on it. He's like, we've been trapped in the desert for 3 days. And you're just now telling me that you had a compass. And Jack's just like, oh, I guess I forgot. It's like, oh, man.
Yeah, Jack's a piece of shit in this movie.
He is, but they don't play it up in the movie at all that like any of it is his fault. Where when you actually sit back and analyze it, almost all of it is his fault.
Yeah, pretty much everything is Jack's fault. Andy Dick. Piece of shit. But next we get a joke that we all saw coming. Well, at least I did. Bones' line of, hey, you guys, in my life I've seen a lot of camel's toes, but I've never seen one on a camel. Immediately knocks this movie down a few pegs.
Yeah. And this is the thing, right? This is a more original joke, not one that's been done time and time again, that he just made terrible. It's like, You can't give him fresh material.
No. They find a military drop of fast attack vehicles and supplies, and Stern's leg injury has him all fucked up, but the morphine seems to be doing the trick. And also he has fabulous gums.
I think it's actually the morphine that messes him up.
Yeah, because of his leg injury, though. But it was just a great spot for Fred. Anytime you have David Alan Grier on screen, he's going to be funny. And he's just a lovable character in this movie. Next, we get the team spotting a Libyan base that Bones just can't see.
They spot this beforehand.
Oh, it was before that?
Yeah, because after they get the vehicles and the radio, they tell him, oh, yeah, that's the thing we saw earlier today.
Well, they make contact with First Sergeant Williams after this.
Yes, but they get the vehicles after they spot the place.
No.
Okay, man. You're 100% wrong on this one.
Okay. But yeah, they make contact with Williams, and he instructs them to take over a Special Forces mission to help take out Libyan Scud missiles at the base they saw earlier. And I love Bones' complete disregard for Williams as he's talking up his team. Basically just Pauly Shore rallying the troops.
It doing a much better job of it than any other time in the movie when he's trying to talk up the team.
Yeah. He's good. Like, Pauly Shore's really good in this movie. He's a competent actor. It's just they need to reel him in sometimes. Back at the Libyan base, Bones ruminates on how shitty their code names are, asking Williams if he can call him General Sweetpants. It's funny. I like it.
Stole my nickname.
Fred tags the base with the laser so the fighter jets can identify the target. But of course they're spotted and start taking fire because we need a final conflict in the movie.
I like how nothing happens for them to be spotted.
No, they're just seen.
Nothing at all. Not even like, oh, somebody accidentally kicks over some pebbles that fall down a cliffside to where some guards are. They're just all running at them now.
But this ruckus causes Fred to lose aim on the base, and the airstrike misses the target. The missiles are prepped for launch, and the next airstrike is 2.5 minutes away.
Kind of saw that coming.
Yeah, the camel returns to take out a soldier.
Save the day.
Unrealistic, but yeah, it's good to see the camel again. Bones grabs a bazooka to take out the Scuds, and I love the back and forth between Williams and Bones. Like, tell me to shut up one more time and I'm going to rip your spine out and use it for a putting iron. To which Bones replies, shut up, I'm not good with directions.
I mean, he's not wrong.
No, it's great. It's very funny. And of course, Bones fucks it up. Second attempt succeeds somehow. He fires the bazooka, blows up one part of the base, which then causes a chain reaction. And I don't see how any of these explosions are connected.
It's a movie.
Exactly.
Hey, on the plus side, when he drops the grenade in the training scene, it doesn't catch fire.
Very good point. I did notice that too. You know my hate of fire grenades.
Yeah, that's why
it was good. It was realistic. Probably the most realistic war film we've ever covered.
I mean, yes.
The only war film we've ever covered.
Yes. I mean, it is also by default the least realistic war film we've ever covered because it's the only one.
Nah, take it for what it is. The missiles have been destroyed, but the water boys are taking heavy fire. Air reinforcements arrive just in time to take them back to base.
No. They just made a lot of noise to make it sound like there was 50 guys up there.
Yeah, that was really stupid. I left that out of notes for a reason.
The helicopter was just conveniently timed to show up after.
Back at the base, they're congratulated by Williams, and for some reason, they return Bones' camel.
I mean, he did barter for it fair and square.
They don't know that. Also, it's just a random camel running around.
The camel should have landed, and Bones look at it and be like, that's not the right camel.
Just saying the camel should have landed is outlandish enough. But the fact that they took enough military power and time to rustle up this camel, box it in, hook it up to a helicopter, and fly it back to the U.S. base. And yeah, I know, it's a movie, but it's ridiculous.
I don't see how that's really ridiculous.
But it's necessary because we cut to the grand opening of Jack and Bones' Sahara stereo, complete with the camel. Two stoners take center frame, debating enlisting at the U.S. Army recruiting center next door. And I guess history is about to repeat itself. Roll credits, end of movie.
I do like how earlier in the movie, when Bones was trying to convince Jack to join the military, he said that if he joins, he'd give him first billing and call it Jack and Bones' store.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the end here, when they show the sign, it says Jack and Bones' store.
Yeah.
I like that. It's a nice little touch that could have easily been missed by a lot of like movie companies. But it just kind of goes to show that, yeah, Bones is an honest dude. Goes by his word. He might not be the brightest one all the time, but his intentions are good.
Might not be? Okay. But yes, it is a nice little nod to earlier in the film. Let's just jump right into numbers.
Okie dokie.
You want to guess the budget?
10 million.
Don't know. Couldn't find it.
Okay.
You want to know how much?
Me when you know there isn't one.
Oh, there is one. I just don't know what it is.
That's what I meant. Like, you don't have one.
That's okay. Specify next time. What's the gross?
10 million.
28.9 million.
I say that's pretty good.
Yeah, it's the fourth highest grossing movie with Pauly Shore.
It's hard to say if that made their budget back because, well,
oh God, doubtful, very doubtful.
You think this movie cost more than 28 million in 1994?
Yes, maybe. I don't know. Probably not. Now you've turned me around completely.
They probably saved a lot of money on that snake special effect.
Oh yeah, at least 4 mil.
Yeah, easy.
Do you want to guess?
$1 million per foot.
What 3 Pauly Shore movies made more money than this one?
Encino Man?
Yep.
Jury Duty?
No.
Son-in-Law?
Yes. One more. You know this movie.
I do?
Yeah. You've already mentioned it.
Goofy movie?
Yes.
I don't know if I'd count that, but it wasn't really a Pauly Shore movie.
I said highest grossing movie with Pauly Shore.
Well, I wasn't listening.
That's good to know. Thanks.
Otherwise, I would have said that. I know it wasn't. I know it wasn't Biodome.
I know that's criminally underrated. IMDb rating. Take a guess. Out of 10.
6.4.
4.9.
Jeez, I was not. Okay.
And we get to the really interesting one now.
Okay.
The critics, Rotten Tomatoes, the tomato meter says what?
Is it really good or really bad?
Just guess.
No, come on, give me a hint.
Nope.
7.
6.
Oh!
6%.
No!
Jesus. That's
I was trying to be like outlandishly ridiculous. There's no way.
Yeah, 6%. Every critic hated it. Audience, worse than IMDb, though, 44%.
What?
I know, this movie got a lot of hate that it just doesn't deserve. But, I mean, you follow up Encino Man and Son-in-Law with this, I get it. But 6?
Yeah, no, that, come on. You're telling me that people gave it lower than an average of 1 out of 10?
I don't know, man. That's probably the worst reviewed movie we've covered.
There's no way.
Like we've obviously talked about shittier movies.
Yes, much shittier movies.
Let's just continue onward.
I'm heartbroken by that, man.
I know, me too.
All right.
Awards.
All right. Who did you have for worst character or least favorite or however you want to call it?
Jack, Andy Dick.
I'm just going to say it now, so did I.
Yeah. He's the reason for everything going wrong for the most part. Unapologetic. Just annoying. And an overall, I don't know. He just kind of detracts from the film. He drags everyone else down. And everyone else is so good. That being said, I don't know if recasting the character would have made any difference.
No, a lot of the issues with this character are how it's written. Like, this guy is just, like you said, an unapologetic jerk who puts most of these events into motion, but they act as if it's Bones' fault.
Yeah.
And yeah, okay, Andy Dick wasn't great in it. He had a couple of good moments.
He did. You have to give him that for sure. But
by no means was it the performance that was the make or break for this character.
No. Favorite character?
So I'm completely biased, and I went with Fred, David Alan Grier. Okay. I've been such a fan of David Alan Grier since I used to watch In Living Color.
And so good. Very good.
He is so captivating. He commands the screen when he's on it. He can do anything you want him to do, whether it's just anxiety, panic, humor. He's just fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I also picked Fred.
Oh, wow. 2 for 2.
Yeah. He is one of my favorite parts of this movie. David Alan Grier is such a good actor and sadly seems to be forgotten. But he plays this character so well that every time you see Fred on screen, you just want to hug him. He's so lovable. Great job.
Yeah. What did you have for your most memorable line?
I've already referenced it twice. It's Bones saying, "Can I call you General Sweetpants?" And that's because I found, looking at the movie as a whole, the script does a great job at keeping comedy present, even during what should be tense scenes, which really keeps it grounded in the desired genre. Because I find a lot of action comedies or comedy dramas, they flip-flop constantly between the different genres. And this here, when it feels like it's starting to get a little too tense in a real-life situation, they'll drop some type of comedy that reminds you this is more comedy than anything. And Can I Call You General Sweetpants at a time where they're about to take heavy fire does just this. It's really well done.
Nice.
You?
I'm torn. I wrote 2 down and I can't decide.
You go for both. I don't mind.
Okay. So the first one you did reference, and it was during the first day of training when Jack says, "There is no sun anymore. We died, and this is hell." And then I think it's the delivery, but Bones is like, "Oh, okay. Thanks for clearing that up."
That's good.
It's just one of those perfect examples of how if it wasn't for the performance, it would be a nothing line. But in this case, it's so good.
Yeah. I swear that's Pauly's improv ability there. I think that comes up a few times in this movie.
Okay.
But yes.
As in like him improving lines?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sure it's the case. My other one is a very blatant tonal shift. So it's when they are in their tent and Bones is reading his letter that Gabriella has dumped him.
Mm-hmm.
And after reading it, and Andy Dick gives him a little bit of a hard time about how she's with this new guy and whatever. And then Bones just throws the letter away and he's like, "She broke my heart. Well, fortunately, I'm too shallow to stay bummed for too long."
Yeah.
And I'm like, that is so the character.
Yeah.
Like,
you
get the impression that Bones doesn't really get bummed out by a lot.
He's
right?
too happy. He's too busy being happy.
He's a very happy guy. Like, in the face of so many things, like with basic training, with pranks being pulled on them, with like everything, other emotions will come to the surface at the time when they're necessary. But in the end, through it all, he's just a happy guy.
Yeah. Good call. 2 really good picks.
You can see why I couldn't decide.
Yeah, of course.
Like, they were just both so good. I mean, both very different tones, but both just highlights of, like, Pauly Shore's delivery in the movie.
Yeah. Okay, well, now I'm kind of curious to know about your memorable scene.
I mean, you'd have to disqualify it for me to not say it, but it's the Brendan Fraser cameo.
Yeah.
It's unfair. It's unfair to the rest of the movie to put in a cameo with Brendan Fraser, who is just so freaking lovable, and expect me to not, like, put a movie where there's a cameo scene by Brendan Fraser and Dick Miller, and I think my head would explode trying to pick this award. Like, it's just not fair.
Yeah. It's quite good. I had 2 for this one. Brendan Fraser cameo being number 1. Number 2, the haircut.
The haircut's really good too.
Yeah, that's the first time I had seen Pauly Shore without his crazy hair that he had been known for. It's good. All right. Overall opinions on In the Army Now.
Yeah, what you got?
I really like it. It's far from Pauly's best because that's Biodome. But it's super entertaining. It's really funny. It's got some laugh out loud moments. You're not supposed to take it seriously. It is what it is. It's a Pauly Shore Disney film. Recommend it to everybody. It is a time capsule with some problematic humor here and there, but overall, it's really enjoyable, and it's a refreshing comedic throwback to yesteryear. Yeah, 100% recommend.
I'm with you, man. This is a fun movie. It's almost impossible to actually watch this movie with a critical eye like we do for the podcast and then hold it against it. Any of the things that I'm like, well, that doesn't make sense or that shouldn't happen, I'm like, but who cares? I'm having fun. It's a fun movie. It's not supposed to be anything but. I honestly think this might be one of Pauly Shore's best performances. I'm not going to say movies, performances.
Okay.
Because he really does knock it out of the park, but he's also got a phenomenal cast behind him. The writing is pretty good. Everything wraps up decently. Yes, I can nitpick, but I could probably nitpick any movie ever made.
Mm-hmm.
This is just a fun movie.
It's a lot of fun.
Watch it and have some laughs. And unlike Biodome, you'll have some laughs.
Watch yourself.
I definitely recommend this movie.
Good. As you should. It is hilarious. It's very entertaining. It's a lot of fun.
All right. Those are our thoughts on In the Army Now. If you want to share your thoughts with us, as always, you can hit us up on social media. We are on Twitter at BSBargainBin, Facebook.com/BSBargainBin, BSBargainBin.com, where you can also find the new tab for our merch. Check it out. Shirt. Grab a shirt. Support your boys. Or, as most people do, comments in the YouTube section. I think this was a really good season premiere.
Agreed.
How are we going to follow it up, Ben?
Oh, it's just getting better from here on out, man. The movie we're going to be talking about next week was released on my 5th birthday. It is set in the distant future of 2019. America is a totalitarian state, where the favorite television program is a game show in which prisoners must run to freedom to avoid a brutal death. Next week, we are talking 1987's The Running Man.
In the year 2017, an innocent man accused of a crime has a choice: hard time or prime time.
Sensational. Perfect contestant. I want him.
He must pay or play the running man.
On your mark.
I'll be back.
Go!
The highest rated TV show in history.
Guess they want us to stay.
It's a game between life and death.
Give you a lift?
Arnold Schwarzenegger is the running man. He's playing for a prize. The prize is his life.
How about the light?
The running man.
Until next week, have a good one.
All the best.